This is Kulr8's Sunday Roundtable with Greg and Chris.
Very good Sunday morning to you. You're watching the Sunday Roundtable with Greg and Chris. Greg Lamont, Chris Byers, and another beautiful weekend in the Magic City.
It is, and you know, one of the things that I really love about this show is that we just uncover all these little gems that I've never even heard of. Some of the places we've gone to, and then to find out about what they do, it's really fun.
Well, we're going to go to one of those places today.
I think so, yeah.
It's a very unique place called Aces, and we're going to go inside, and you're going to find out what it's all about. I think it's about embroidery and color and printing, and come on, let's go have some fun.
Let's check it out.
Hi, guys.
Tony Prill.
Hi, Tony.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well, yes.
The place is called Aces,
Correct.
and Aces stands for something.
All Color Embroidery Services, and we are a branding and imaging company here in Billings, Montana.
Now, this is a company, as I understand it, that's been here for at least 25 years, but the original owners decided to retire, as
Yes,
I understand.
that's correct.
And you purchased this.
About 2.5 years ago. Yep.
And that begs the question. This would seem to be a very intricate business, something that would be hard to master, that you would have to know something about it. But you were telling us that when you bought it, you knew nothing about this.
I didn't know anything about it. In fact, I heard it was for sale and said, well, let's find out what Aces is. And as I didn't know what Aces was, I found out that a lot of other people really don't know what Aces is. So,
Well, Tony, what in the world would give you the guts, we'll say, to say, I'm going to buy a business in which I know nothing about and make it work?
the industry that I was in was contracting, and I wanted to stay here local in Billings, Montana. I also wanted to become more a part of my community. So I looked for a business that was for sale. And when John and Ginger Lord were retiring, I toured the business, found out about it, thought this would be a great adventure, and something that I wanted to always do is to own my business and control my own destiny and and do kind of my own thing. This was a great opportunity.
And that's what you just said. We hear a lot from people that do start their own businesses or buy an existing business. Was it harder than you thought it would be? Was the learning curve difficult to come in here and try to understand exactly what it is this business does?
It was a little bit difficult because there's so many moving parts and pieces. But what I did, as I was a sales rep before, I came in as a sales rep, and John and Ginger stayed on for a period of time, and I learned more and more about the business. And when I had a stumbling block and had to learn why I had a stumbling block and what I could do to overcome it, that's how I learned more and more about the business, more of the production end of, well, why can't we do 300 of these in 2 days?
Well, Tony, we're standing in the sales area, as you described it. But it also gives people a chance to come in and sort of see what the samples look like and that kind of stuff. Tell us what this business does.
What this business does is put somebody's brand or image on whatever they want, whether it's a bag, a shirt, a refrigerator, a sign, an emblem, or a coffee cup. Whatever they want, that's what we do.
Let me stop you just for a minute, because you can take a $2 T-shirt and put an image on it. You can take a $10 T-shirt with heavy cotton and put the same thing on. And
Correct.
And I've seen lots of those shirts that you get. Some are, they're more inexpensive. So when it starts with the actual shirt, right?
It does.
So from your end of things, is there a preferred type of density to what you do, or is it all come down to what people want to spend?
It does come down to what people want to spend, but what we really try to stay away from are the super inexpensive junky T-shirts, because wear it once and throw it away is not really our business. We like to have a little bit better image, a little bit more into the material that's used, so we do actually like to have a little bit higher end stuff.
Who do you work with locally that you can talk about or tell us about in terms of image building and some of the companies that you've worked with?
One of the ones we've worked quite a bit with is, like right now we're doing all the football jerseys for Yellowstone Youth Football. They came in and wanted to develop a logo, so we got them in contact with an ad agency that helped them develop their logo, and then have done everything from embroidered hats to screen printed jerseys to big banners to even the stickers that the kids get.
So you can, When you mentioned an ad agency and then recreating the branding for that, can you do that?
Yes, we
as
do.
well? I mean,
yes, we do that
if
as
someone
well.
came in and said, "Man, I need to build an image here for my company, or I need some sort of a logo," that you can do that as well.
Correct. And we find out what their business is. We have graphic artists on staff that will put their images in many different ways and see what they respond to. And he who has the best image wins. And we've got really good graphic artists that we're really lucky to have right here that do a really good job.
Tony, you kind of surprised me. Off camera, I asked you what was the bread and butter of the business, and you said embroidery.
It is.
But that's also more labor intensive and requires more of the computers and machineries and the artistic work and that kind of stuff. It would seem it would be more cost intensive as well, is it not?
It is. But you also get a little bit more money out of embroidery as well. It costs more to do that image. It takes more time. The machinery is much more expensive. And just even programming the machine to sew that image is more expensive. So
You're in Billings, but you told us that you compete across the country, and so I ask you, you know, if you're going in direct competition with, you know, companies in Los Angeles or Chicago, New York, how do you compete for that business when those people, quite frankly, could find maybe a half a dozen places like this in a larger city?
in a larger city, in those metropolitan areas, we have a really tough time competing just because their prices are so low. We compete very well here in the Northwest, and it helps that here in the Northwest we're becoming a decorator just because of shipping times and shipping expenses. Everybody wants everything right now. So if you have to wait 4 to 6 days after your 2-week turnaround time for your product, where we can turn it around in 10 days and get it to you in 1 or 2 days, that's an advantage for us. So we are a little bit more than the big factories down in those metropolitan areas, especially on screen print. Now embroidery, we're pretty competitive, but anybody can drop their price to get the deal done. And in the big metropolitan areas, they do that to compete.
Before we take a break, let's walk over to this other room here and show us some of the things that you were showing us before.
Oh yeah. So we'll just kind of show you some of the prints that we do here. Being a bit of a boutique print shop, we do some unique type of prints that a lot of other shops don't do. For example, this one right here, this is a gel foil puff print, where this is a process where you're layering in gel and putting in different levels and layers of colors of foil.
See, our camera man, Brandon Sullivan, would love this because he sees himself as Superman. So
Is that right?
he
Okay.
probably likes this one right here.
Yeah, that's for you.
That's for you, Brandon.
In addition, you can make them custom as to this gentleman just wanted the eyes and the face done out so that would pop on his image.
Right.
Or you can have lettering, or this right here, this is CAD cut vinyl. So these are one-off images that are heat pressed on. Really popular with the ladies.
How well do these products do, Tony, in the washing machine?
We like to have everything that we do last at least 50 washes. That's what we try to guarantee and everything.
And like this right here, I thought was beautiful.
This is embroidery.
This is
here, right?
embroidery, right?
Correct.
And you were showing us the inside of the shirt too, and how that's done. Go through that process.
Yeah. So when you normally have an embroidered shirt, what you see in the back is the backing that you kind of have here. It's kind of the paper or the substrate that the embroidery lives off of. What we do here at Aces is instead of just using one layer on the back, we use 2 layers on the back. And then in addition to that, we use what's called a clear solvay backing on the front, which is taken off and scrubbed off. And so what we did for this fly shop that we work with up in West Yellowstone is we even used 2 layers up here so that the image has a great platform to live off of. It sews better. We're very concerned with how things sew and how things look. Then your images don't bunch up, and it's a little bit more quality that we try to put into all of our stuff, And that's what makes us a little bit like a boutique print shop or a boutique embroidery shop, even though we compete nationally.
Well, we need to take a break, Tony.
Okay.
But there's much more to see, folks. I promise you. We'll be right back.